Hey guys, I was in the middle of a video and I was literally 4 minutes into that video and I stopped it because, as mentioned before in my last video, there are some things that I'm going to be tiptoeing around as far as explaining something. I felt like I was getting a little bit too deep into the details of it, which is unfortunate because I so badly want to connect with some people and let you know the depths of the issues and the legal things I had to walk through. But unfortunately, my son comes first. So I'm going to start over again and try to tiptoe around some of those issues so that I make sure that that is my number one importance, is my son. Going back to where I was on that couch and bringing you back into that story, what was happening there, I had just been served some legal papers from some police officers signed by my soon-to-be ex-husband at the point, which I didn't know he had filed for divorce at that point. And my parents had rushed over and I was in a fury. I was in a full panic attack. And I had thrown family photos. There was glass shattered all over the floor. I was screaming because I had just realized in that moment that my marriage was over. When I had just been telling my friend about a couple days ago that this was my last straw. You know, we were officially separated and we were exchanging the child for weekends and things like that, and this came blowing into my face. I didn't have much time to get what I needed to do because of legal pursuits. I had to live and grab my suitcase and leave my house, my car, and my dog and go to my parents' house, which was about 10 minutes away from my house. And the next morning, I found out that he had filed for divorce because I was in pursuit of finding an attorney, and we found out that it was electronically filed the same day that the legal pursuit against me was filed as well, and the battle had begun. And it was clear that he was angry and frustrated and wanted my son. And I remember being in such a blur that my nerves were so shot. I couldn't eat and I couldn't sleep. All I could focus on was how I was going to get my son back. And I remember taking myself back in those moments where your nerves are so high that your body literally can't process any nutrition or anything that's going inside my body. Don't mind the crash if you heard it. My son's playing a game downstairs. It's okay. And that lasted for about 30 days. It took me about 30 days. It's actually 34 days to get my son back. And I had to go through some couple legal hoops to get there. I hired an attorney, and then I fired that attorney, and then I hired another attorney. So I had a lot of legal things moving forward that I had to make in a very quick, demanding way. And there's this moment that I want to share that I was having where I'm a very religious person. I definitely have a relationship with a higher power, and I call that higher power God. Some people call it your inner self. Some people call it, your second spiritual nature, whatever they want to call it, right? This was my moment with God, and I needed the strength and I needed help from Him to be able to move forward. And I got some very empowering words, and I wrote them down in my journal. I didn't even date it. It might be like April 2018, but this is what it said. It says, your body and strength was meant for this. And that's something that carried on me throughout my entire divorce, is that my body was meant for this. Meaning that I was not only physically healthy, but emotionally I had been through something like this with my family. My aunt and uncle passed away when I was 14, and we were in a custody battle to get those 3 children who had parents who died without a will. And that legal pursuit, I believe, prepared me for my own legal pursuit with my son, and I knew that deep down. I also knew that I was sharing very intimate moments, specifically with my little sister who lost her parents at a young age, and my son was around that very similar age. And I remember just sitting with her on a bed, and we both just were bawling her eyes out because I missed my son and I knew she missed her mom. And in that moment, we were able to share each other's passions, as I was the mother holding her and she was there letting me hold her as a child. Those are things that you just can't replace, and things that you know were there for a reason. And so when I knew that God was telling me that my body and strength was meant for this, it was something that was reaffirmed to me again and again and again through my legal pursuit. The second one is what was said to me is it doesn't matter who did what or said what. All it matters that this is what was meant to be. I think when we're going through difficult times, it's easy to nitpick other people and to begin to say, well, it's this person's fault and this person did this and I'm in this position because of them, right? You become the victim of it. And it was so clear to me that it didn't matter what happened in the past, and that I could delve into the past and point out a million things that this person had done to me and a million reasons why I shouldn't be in this position and defending myself, right? But that wasn't going to get me anywhere. And I knew that right off the bat. And I had to move forward from that. Now in therapy, I did go back with some of those things, and I did rehash some of those moments, because I knew that if I had to go back and relive them as the new, confident, non-codependent human being that I was, right? I had to go back and relive it and see how would I have handled it now to make sure that something like this wasn't going to happen again, right? And you can't make sure of anything, but at least I knew how I would have handled it differently as a new person. Then I wrote down my desires, and this was the biggest part, I think, is I had 4 desires at the beginning of my divorce. Now, I want you to know that this is close to April 9th, which means I had been in this pursuit for 10 days. That shows you how fresh and how raw these emotions and feelings were when I was writing this down. The first one is I wanted a speedy divorce. Define speedy. I knew I wanted a divorce, but I just didn't want to live through my divorce. And I told that to people all the time. I said, I want a divorce, I just don't want to have to live through it. And I definitely lived through it. My divorce broke out the first weekend of April of 2018 and was finalized in 2019 of June. Sorry guys, I was getting a phone call, so I got interrupted. Wanted to chime back in here again. So if you didn't hear that, my divorce started in 2018 of April and finalized in June of 2019. So that tells you the timeline of that speedy divorce. But I'll be honest with you, there are so many women out there who end up in a much longer pursuit than what I was dealing with, especially with the battles that I was up against. It easily could have gone double that time, easily, considering how many women who are in a battle with this for years and years and years and continuously for years. I haven't needed to go to court ever since. And I am so grateful for that. And those women who have gone to court, gird up your loins, women, because you've got this, is the biggest thing I can give you right now. The second thing I wanted was custody towards Benson's best needs. I will 100% say that that is something that I desired, and it was granted. The third one was financial security. I guarantee you guys, I got my financial security. And number 4, to provide a loving relationship, an example of marriage with Benson, of marriage, to provide a loving relationship example of marriage. So I want to provide a loving relationship of marriage to Benson, if that makes sense. And here I am sitting as a woman who is not married. I can't explain to you, maybe that's why I'm telling you these stories now, because now I feel like all those desires have been met. And it is so beautiful that within 2 years' time, 2.5 years' time, I have been able to fight for this. I remember that moment, and I remember how difficult it was. And I am so grateful for it. And moving forward and seeing what can be done. I also have other things that I wrote down here that I'm not going to share, but it's things that I wanted my soon-to-be ex-husband at the time to understand and to learn for himself. And I honestly can't tell you if he has learned them because I don't speak to him as much as, I just don't have personal conversations with him at all. It's always about just exchanges and things like that. But I sure hope he has. But again, I'm not responsible for him anymore. I'm only responsible for the safety of my son, and I have greatly accomplished. Sorry, I'm hearing something downstairs. I have greatly accomplished so many things, and I'm so excited to continue this journey with you guys. That is what was happening within 10 days of my divorce starting. See you guys next time.